Hello, this is Angela Anderson. Thanks for joining me for this acrylic painting tutorial. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to paint this roses in a vase. It's our flower of the month for the month of June 2019. We're going to be doing this tonight, and I'll show you step by step how to do it from start to finish. Got my husband Mark with me.
Hey there, everybody.
He's been in chat for our live show, so if you have questions, you can ask those while I'm painting, and I'll try to answer them. Let's get started. Okay, so as I mentioned, this is our flower of the month for June, and it's our 6th one of the year. So we started out, and these are the kind of ones we've already done. So we're doing kind of a different shades of gray for the backgrounds in all of these. So we'll be doing another shade of gray on our roses back here, but I wanted to kind of show you our inspiration pieces there. They'll all, by the end of the year, we'll have 12 of them. So it'll be kind of fun. All right. Let's go over our colors really quick. I'm using a 5x5 inch canvas panel. This is actually not canvas panel, it's actually gallery wrapped canvas. Gallery wrap just means it's stapled on the back. The sides are clean, so you can set it up. You don't have to frame it. And this one's from Fredrix, so thank you to them for providing our canvases. They're really cute and really nice to work on. They have good quality canvases. I'm going to be using some Princeton brushes for the background for our brushes. The number 6 Filbert, and then a 1/4 inch angle shader, a 1/4 inch number 4 Filbert, a number 3 round, and a number 4 chisel blender for some of the detail work in the flowers, and then of course our trusty fan brush for our splattering at the end. And then I'm using a red Aquarelle Art Grip Faber-Castell pencil. That's hard to say.
Wow, say that like once fast.
Say like 10 times fast. Yeah, okay, I'm not even going to try it. It's not going to go well.
Just once.
I know, it was hard. It's hard to do it once, so it was good enough. Just a water-soluble pencil. It doesn't have to be this color, but just whatever you've got. That works. All right, our colors are Quinacridone Magenta, Cadmium Red Light, Yellow Oxide, Cadmium Yellow Medium, Phthalo Green Yellow Shade, Teal, Phthalo Blue Green Shade, Dioxazine Purple, Burnt Sienna, Burnt Umber, Unbleached Titanium, and Zinc White and Titanium White. And if you don't have these exact colors, just choose what you've got that's similar. All right, we'll go ahead and start with drawing on our thing. So welcome to everybody who's watching tonight. If you are new to our show, we hope you will subscribe and come back and join us for more of these. There's a little bell by the subscribe button that'll give you notifications of our live shows. And you can also get on our newsletter if you want to get our email blasts that come out once a week now. So that's, if you go to my website, you can get on our newsletter blast. So anyhow, all right, let's sketch. So our little vase is fitting in just about the bottom half of our canvas. It's kind of like right below the halfway mark. If you kind of mark this halfway, kind of the top of it is probably right up in here. So if you want to do just kind of a couple of angled lines in, make it as narrow as you want at the neck. And there's kind of a curved line there where you're seeing kind of a reflection or kind of the neck coming out this way, and then back up in here on either side. We're just going to do kind of a rounded spot, and then when it comes to the bottom, it kind of flattens out just a little bit. But this one, we're kind of looking down on it a little bit, so it's pretty rounded at the base there, like that. All right, then our roses are going to be fitting in here. And if you want to, what you can do is kind of start out by just kind of doing circles to see if you can fit them all in. And that way you kind of know where to place all of them. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them. So this one is right up across from this. It comes over the top of the lip of the vase here. So the first petal is going to come in like this, and then the idea behind the rose is that it's kind of like a overlapping layers like this. They're kind of doing like this, And then the next one is in, so it's almost like a little spiral where each one of these petals is just kind of nestled in underneath the one in front of it. So if you kind of keep that in mind, you'll pretty much be able to do these, even if they're not the exact shape of this particular rose, you'll get that same feeling of the rose. So it's basically kind of that spiral shape. So, and the petals kind of do a like triangular almost shapes in some places. So you can kind of see it sort of does these kind of almost hard angles, like right in here, especially as it comes out. They sort of fold out, kind of they're folded, so they kind of come out like this, and then they lay flat out. But when they're just emerging, they look kind of triangular, like that. All right, then I'm going to do the center of this one. It's kind of just a little curl inside of a curl. And then we're seeing kind of the neck come down, and then a petal over the top curving in like that. Another one kind of coming in around, and like I said, we kind of, this one is kind of probably inside this one, so you can overlap them a little bit. Yeah, actually this one comes out like that, curls around it. Then this one comes out around both of those. And got one there, large one here. See those triangular shapes. And then as it gets toward the center, they get more circular. There. There's a petal coming off like that. There's a leaf here. Top of this one, we're going to get this triangle shape right in here, this sort of a diamond right there, and then we're just seeing a little bit of the inner petals there, like that. Depending on the way it's facing us, like some of these that are top down, we're seeing more of a spiral, and these ones that are kind of coming upward, we're seeing more of this kind of neck shape coming out. This one's got all kinds of little spirals, very tightly, hasn't fully unfurled yet. There. This one is very open, so it's got a big old petal here, another one here, one coming out this way, all the way up and around, and then inside it's got these petals coming across and then up, around, and this little spiral in the middle there. Paint what you see, draw what you're seeing, not what you think you should be seeing. That's the key with roses. I think people have an idea of what they're supposed to look like, and so it kind of trips them up because they end up painting or drawing what is not really there. It's one of those pretty common flowers. I feel like the more common the item, the harder it is to draw sometimes, because we have such hard preconceived notions of what they're supposed to look like in our brains. You know, we've already got this kind of developed sense of what a rose looks like, and so when we go to draw it, our brain kind of fights us a little bit. Not a little bit, a lot. All right.
When I draw myself, and I never look like Tom Cruise
Really?
or Brad Pitt. So, yeah, I fully agree with that preconceived notion of what you look like.
True. Truth.
Yeah.
Okay, so I decided to do kind of a yellow gray for the background on this one. So I'm going to start with yellow oxide as our base. And I'm going to add a little bit of purple. So our base on this one here was purple with yellow oxide, but purple was more dominant color. So this one we're going to do this opposite. We're going to do more of the yellow as our dominant color. And you wouldn't think that it's the same, but it is. So same two colors, just adding more of the one. Yeah, that's going to be pretty. Okay. So I'm going to use my Filbert here, and I'm just going to kind of paint around my drawing. And fortunately this one, they're all pretty tightly packed, so there's really not a whole lot of the background showing, but if you do think you're going to see some, just go ahead and kind of tap it in where you think you might need some of that background back in there. If we had a lot of the background showing between these flowers, I wouldn't even try to do it this way. I would paint the background first completely and then do our sketch. So just, there we go. And I really think that these would have been good to maybe do, like when we did the birds series, the songbird series, we did the backgrounds in the Quinacridone Magenta and then painted our backgrounds over the top of that. I think this would be actually really pretty with something like that if you wanted to get creative and do something different. I hope this isn't going to be too out there for a color, because it's not quite, let's put them all together and see kind of what, I don't know, I may have to gray this out just a little bit more, because let's add a little bit of brown, a little bit more purple. We can get kind of a bit more neutral color, maybe. If we had a little bit of green to it, it could also gray it out a little bit more. There we go. Let's use that gray green down here. Put in our shadow. Yeah. And I'm deliberately kind of leaving my brush strokes choppy, and I think it'll give it a more painterly look. Using this Filbert brush here too also kind of allows my brush strokes to stay a little bit softer. So I chose the yellow because we had so many other yellow flowers, and this particular painting does not have really any yellow in it for the most part. Maybe a little bit in the green or greenery, mixed in with the green, not on its own. But this will kind of tie this into the other paintings, and we'll use a little bit of this color in our base tones. It'll be pretty. It is quite different, but when we get all the other paintings done, hopefully we can unify them all, by the end here.
They want to see your brush with the paint on it if you can. If you haven't,
I'm scooping up a lot of paint on there.
pretty much a lot there.
Yep. I'm just tapping it on there. But I'm not over mixing it on here. That's the key to getting kind of that variegated look, is to just barely mix it on your palette. And then...
Yeah, and as you said before, and people keep commenting that they're surprised how little paint you use, and like when you were mixing those colors there, I mean, you were just barely touching the paint.
Yeah.
Like, like kind of like it went by and just breathed on it a little bit, and that was about as much
well,
paint as
I
you
think
needed.
that also I'm adding a lot of water. You see how much water I'm dipping in there. I think that a lot of times people, they get halfway done and then they keep adding more and more paint because the paint stops going on to the canvas. But what the real problem is they don't have any water left in their brush. And so it's just kind of run out of juice. There's no place for it to go, once there's no water in it.
Like right there when you're getting those extra colors, I mean, you're just barely touching the puddle of paint.
Yeah, no, I'm not picking up a lot of paint at all. Okay, there we go. So there's our little orangey kind of peachy. Here, I want to see what they look like with the other ones around it. It may be a little too different. I don't know. I may have to gray it out a little bit more. I mean, this one was pretty different, kind of orange or green, but we'll see. We'll let that dry, and then we can always glaze it over the top to change the tone if we need to. So
you're only 6 in.
It'll change as it dries too a little bit. What?
Said you're only 6 paintings in, so.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, very true. Yeah, we've got plenty of other ones that we can. Oh, yeah. I just don't want it to be too different. So. Right. Too out there. All right. All right, so let's do our little vase here, and I'm going to use the 1/4 inch angular shader for that. And I forgot to mention Princeton is our brush sponsor, so thank you to them. We are actually going to be working on videos for them. I've already done the first 2 with actually my first one was the angle shader because I use it so much. But my $10 Patreon group is going to get to see the behind the scenes filming of all of the Patreon or the Princeton video brush videos. And we're going to be using 29 different brushes here. Let me pull it out. I can show you really quick. It's heavy. I can get under here without dropping it.
Well, let me zoom out a little bit.
Yeah.
Get them all in there.
So they sent me the entire line of the Select brushes. So that's all of the entire line of Select brushes in every size that they carry. And so we're doing all 29 varieties of those brushes. There's 29 different kind of types of brush in the series. And we're going to do videos for all of them. So I'm excited about it. It'll be fun. All right, so I've got teal as my base. If you want to mix some darker teal, you just grab a little bit of phthalo blue, phthalo green. Mix those together. You can add just a little touch of burnt sienna to deepen the tone and just kind of make it a little bit richer. It'll make it less like party color, a little bit more natural color, Although this color is pretty bright, so I'm not too afraid of going bright on this, but since it is a vase, but we'll have that darker color in there just to use as well. And I still have quite a bit of it on my brush there, I can see.
So we got a question when you got a moment.
Okay, go for it.
They would like to know, how long did it take you to get so good at blending?
So good at blending. Well, when I first started learning to paint with acrylics, I did mainly floating, and then I would I pretty much self-taught myself how to paint with acrylics. I took art as my major in college, but my professor was a potter, and he didn't really teach us technique at all. So I pretty much, was just kind of like stuck us in the room with some canvases, and you had to buy all your own materials. And of course, I didn't even have a clue what to even buy. So I just got some cheap acrylics and was trying to do Bob Ross techniques with them. And of course, that didn't work because he was using oil paints and they dry so much less fast. So I turned to toll painting books, actually, to kind of learn how to control acrylics. And they don't do a lot of blending with that. They do kind of a lot of overlaying of washes and glazes and stuff. They paint a base color and then they glaze over the top to shade it and that kind of thing. So it wasn't until, I would say 2005 when I started to do more of my own type of stuff and kind of got away from the decorative painting and more into the fine art type of stuff. And I just kind of experimented with it, and by then I had worked with acrylics for long enough that I was comfortable with it, and I kind of figured out pretty quick how to do it. But yeah, it was definitely, and I would get frustrated when I remember when I was doing the learning how to paint with acrylics, and I would get these toll painting books that were advanced ones, and they'd be doing these projects with flowers and things, and you'd see a picture of it like this, and then you'd see a picture of it like finished, or the next picture was like, I don't know, you'd see the picture, the brush, and and she'd do and then it would be done, and you're like, how did she do that? Like, it's really hard. So there was not videos I didn't have videos to watch. So I mean, I'm sure it's probably just as frustrating watching me do it because I am going fast through here sometimes. So I'm added white to this teal here, and I'm kind of doing these sort of streaks over the top of this darker color here to give that kind of some movement. But yeah, I don't know how many years. It really is about just sticking with it and kind of continuing to practice and practice and practice. I mean, I would paint for hours and hours and hours at a time when I was doing craft fairs and stuff. Mark can tell you. I mean, I'd stay up late after my boys went to bed and paint. They were little at the time, so
they'd go to bed, I'd go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
She'd break out the craft paints out of the laundry closet, set them up on the kitchen table.
Mm-hmm.
Paint and paint and paint and paint, and pack it up, put it back in the laundry closet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hey, Spencer wants to know, does he need to go inside to pick up?
I don't think so. I think they bring it out to your car. There should be a section for takeout there when he drives up. Okay, so doing that little dark part right there, and then we'll use the zinc white on this part of the vase, but I think we're getting close to where we want to be. And I'm keeping it fairly loose because we did the other styles fairly loose like that, so I don't want to go too deep into the details, but I am not liking this background, so I am going to, let me see.
So for
Let's
those
try working with some teal here. What?
who are watching in the future, the replay, start now.
Start now what?
Yeah, start watching so you can paint the background.
Start now.
Well, watch the beginning to draw, then skip ahead to now.
Right. Well, I don't think they're going to hear you, honey.
Oh, well,
Sadly.
that's their fault. I use my mind.
Just trying to think what color. Like, I want it to have a little bit of a yellowish tone, but I don't want it to be this brown. That's closer to it, I think. Just kind of adding that green, that teal green from the vase. I think it's going to look good when it's dry. I'm going to go around this here. Leave that undercolor showing through, and we're just dabbing on top with the more teal mixed in with that color. Yeah, that's better, and that's closer to the kind of grays that we're using. It's a little bit more neutral, kind of dull. Yeah, that'll be better. Definitely better. What's Spencer laughing? What are you laughing about?
Oh, somebody commented that Angela just tuned Mark out with that sigh.
What did you say? I didn't even hear it.
I said I was going to use my mind to tell them in the future to skip ahead.
Oh.
And you didn't even acknowledge you just sighed. And
you kept on talking. Mark is in the doghouse. Just to let FYI, Mark is on my
naughty
list today. So I'll get over it.
5 seconds of error causes hours worth of rework.
Yeah, so I spent all day pretty much. Well, not all day, but at least 2, maybe 3 hours. I can't remember, but trying to render this video into our bonus video from Sunday. Got deleted by somebody who shall not be named. Can you tell she's had a bad day?
Man, is it hot outside or what?
Mark this
weather's crazy.
If you reset the video again, I will.
I didn't reset it.
Write a big old note over there. It's like, do not reset.
I didn't reset.
Okay, well, whatever you did, we don't know what you did, but
I did something very wrong for sure. Hopefully in the future I won't do wrong again.
Well, whatever it was.
Whatever you don't know you did, don't do that again.
Well, yeah, that's the problem.
Right.
That's what I'm scared of. I'm envisioning having to do this every week.
I think we need to do some practice videos.
Okay.
On Crowdcast so I can get used to it.
Okay. It's fine. I still love you. I just had a bad day.
I know, but I hate being the cause of...
I know.
Of your badness.
All right.
I got you guacamole yesterday.
I know you did. It was good. I wasn't as upset about it yesterday because I didn't realize how much time it was going to take me today.
The look on that waitress's face, though, that was priceless.
Yeah, she walked up right when Mark told me.
And she's like, "You did what?" And the waitress just eyes
got
really
stopped.
big.
She was like, "Do I need to come back?"
She's like, "Oh gosh, this isn't going to go well." We gave her extra tip.
Yeah, exactly. Bless her. Okay. I think this needs to kind of come up here actually a little bit more. A little dark right there. Okay, I don't know what I just did there. There we go. Just moving it up just a little bit. All right, so, and that actually is not turning out to be very teal-ish. It's kind of turning out to be pretty dark, so I'm going to add some brighter teal spots. There we go. Well, plus Mark's at work as I'm getting all these messages, too. So.
Yeah, I was trying to tell him that you were fixing my boo-boo.
Well.
Because you're amazing like that.
I thought I had fixed it yesterday.
Yeah, I know.
And it turned out that I didn't, so. anyhow, it's fine.
As they say,
We're over it.
no crying over spilt milk.
That was Zinc White there, and I probably could have waited until it dried a little bit more, but we'll see how that turned out. Okay. No crying over spilled milk.
I'm not sure what that means, but I don't think I ever did.
No crying over deleted videos?
Oh, no, that might be legitimate. Oh, got a question on painting on a small canvas like this. Does the rule of thirds still apply?
I don't really follow that rule I like to do a big like center object. So I think that if you're using a small enough canvas and it's a certain, like if it's a square, it doesn't really apply as much as if it was like a long, like if I was using a long canvas, it didn't matter what size it would be, I would put it on a third. But when I'm using like a square canvas, I usually generally just kind of put it right down in the middle. I don't know if that's right or not, because there's just not room to do the rule of thirds. Your object would be tiny, you know. So, I mean, you could, you know, have it going off the edge maybe, which I don't really tend to like to do either. So, that's a personal choice, I think. But yeah, when it's on the round canvases, I don't tend to use the rule of thirds in general. All right, so mixing up, I mixed a little bit of dark purpley red here, and then I'm actually gonna mix up, clean that out, mixed up some pink with the Quinacridone Magenta, and then I'm gonna mix up a cherry red with my Quinacridone and my Cadmium Red Light, and I'm going to add more of the Quinacridone to make it more on the bright cherry red side. These two together make just some prettiest reds. So, and it is a very pink red in this rose, but there are touches of this kind of more cherry red in there too. So I'm gonna mix up. I mixed up way more than I need right there. I went a little too orange at first. I would say probably 3 parts Quinacridone to 1 part Cadmium Red Light. You don't need that much of it to get that warmer tone out of it. All right, and then a lot of the petals are, I'm going to grab this Unbleached Titanium and grab just a little bit of my pink and add that to that, because it's got, a lot of these petals have kind of a warmer yellowish tone, especially the ones kind of towards the outside edges. So we use that, and I'm using the Filbert, and don't get your paint up there like I did. But I'm just going to go for it and not worry about it right now and try to clean it out really good later. And when you clean your brush, if you've gotten your paint up in this silver part and you've got a flat brush, you need to clean it probably 3 or 4 times. Make sure that it's really gotten out of there, because if it stays in there, the next time I use my brush, it will be flared out and it won't come back. I think I probably got some paint stuck in my angle brush here, because you can see how that edge right there is sticking out, and that's what happens. You can the brush fibers start to stick out when you get that paint dried down inside the belly, it's called, that little crimped part right there, the belly of the brush. So just be careful about that. All right, so starting out with these lighter colors, then I'm just I think I'm just going to kind of blend these as I go in here, and just kind of fill them in sections and try to get the darker colors kind of worked in. So let's put the darker color in here. I need some really dark. I'm just going to go ahead and put those dark sections in where I'm seeing them. with this much yellow or this much of the lighter color on my brush. It's going to be harder to get them in dark, these parts. My phone going off, sorry. Just grab my brush there with my phone. Alright, so there we go. We got a little bit of our purpley in there. Let's grab our next value, which is that kind of reddish color here. Let's add some of that in. And I'm just kind of sketching with the tip of the brush here. Just make sure you're using a brush that's small enough for you to kind of get into these little small areas. Doesn't have to be a Filbert, it can be whatever kind of brush you like, but it just needs to be small enough to kind of fit. Get that kind of medium pink here. And I could probably have used like a little bit of brown in my purple tones. We'll see how it looks because I don't want the roses to turn out looking purple. So we'll see what it looks like when I get more of these petals in here. And I may decide that I want to darken those up with a little bit of brown or something. Okay.
So if you're just joining right now, Angela does know what she's doing. If it was me painting, I'd be about done going, okay, I have no clue what to do next.
Mm-hmm.
Close enough.
Well, and if you know, this kind of style I really like. So, I mean, there are some artists that work in this really loose style and they leave their paintings like this. And I love that style. I tend to be a little bit of a tighter painter, you know, a little bit more controlled. But I really do like, and you can see how when I'm painting this way, I'm holding my brush much farther back. If I'm trying to control every little brush stroke, I'm going to be choking right up on it and using it very, you know, controlled, close to the tip. But when I'm trying to get these kind of softer, more loose brush strokes, I'm holding it way farther back on the brush, and that will help you get these kind of looser feeling brush strokes too. Now, of course, you're going to have, you know, some measure of control already. If you don't, you may need to go ahead and hold it, you know, as close as you want. You know, if you're brand new to painting, it may be harder for you to hold it farther back like this, but if you're having a hard time, you know, getting kind of looser brush strokes, then I would, you know, suggest kind of trying this. Try holding it a little bit farther back like this, and seeing how it does for you. really brighter color. I've got all these colors on here. Like, so depending on where I set my brush down, I can get some of that darker color by kind of tilting the darker color down. And then if I want to get the lighter color, I can kind of pull some lighter color onto this side and put that on there, and then go switch back to the darker side and put some of that in there as well. So kind of switch back and forth. You could have a couple different brushes going at the same time with this. Like, you could probably have one that's got your darker colors and just switch back and forth between the darker and the lighter colors. Probably not a bad idea. So we're going in here with this. We're going to come back in and kind of add some finishing details, but we really need to get all of these kind of petals in here first. And I'm just basically looking at the shapes and values. So trying to get kind of the values of these different shapes kind of right, so that I can come back in and just add a few little brush strokes over the top and do the finishing. Okay.
Okay, so some tips for people if they watch this in the replay, to make sure their video settings are at 1080p, so they can see it crystal clear, even out too. And they may want to slow down the replay a little bit while you're doing this, because what I'm noticing is that while you're going around the rows, you're twisting and turning the brush, and it's not so noticeable in regular speed.
I see.
So, for me, I know I would be just, keeping it angled the same way and trying to make those movements, not realizing that, it'd be helpful if you just kind of twist it and turn it once in a while. You do it so second nature, you don't even notice you're doing it.
Right. That's true. I need to stop and think about explaining what I'm doing here. Okay.
And is that a blender? One of those blender?
No, this is the 1/4 inch angle. The number 4 Filbert.
Number 4 Filbert, okay.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to spray these. Don't dry on me. I like how it's turning out. It's actually kind of got a cool feeling so far. It's definitely not a photorealism style. I have plenty of those. I've got 2 different roses that I've done in the really detailed, quite large. So if you're kind of more into that style of like, I want to see how to do each individual rose, this particular painting would probably take at least 5 hours to do if we did it in that super realism style. So that's not what we're going for at all. It's going to take way too long, for a Tuesday night video. So we're doing it in this kind of loose impressionist style on this one. But if you prefer that kind of more realistic style and you want to take your time and really put the effort into doing this, I will have the traceable for this. And what you can do is just take that traceable and fill in each one of these little sections and just be really, careful about the color, and maybe watch one of my other rose videos to see how I did the petals. But these, being so tiny like this, it would be a lot to try to get any kind of depth down into such a small area. It can be done, but just know that it'll take you some time. So I watched a really interesting video. I was actually supposed to be doing a video series with a few other artists, and I didn't have time for it. But it was called The Greatest Mistake in Art, and Lackery was talking about that really one of the biggest mistakes in art that she sees is that those who are trying for realism in their color, she was talking about colored pencil, but it really applies to any art, I think, was giving up before it's done, and I've talked about that too, giving up in the ugly stage or whatever. And especially when it comes to photorealistic type of painting like she does, or in images like she does, you don't realize how much time it actually takes. It is time consuming, and so you can't just think, I'm going to spend 2 hours on this and it should look good, and why isn't it looking good? I must not be doing this right. And that's kind of where our minds go when we're a beginner. We're like, I must be doing this wrong. And then you don't realize that the actual professional who's been doing the painting, painting as a profession for years and years and years, it takes them, 8, 10, 12 hours to finish a piece. And then you're like expecting yourself to get it done in 2 hours. It's not going to look like theirs. It's probably not going to look like theirs even if you did it in the same exact amount of time as the professional did, So like I have people, saying, your 2-hour video, it took me 5-6 hours to do mine. And that's pretty normal, especially if you're just learning, how to do it. You're not going to have the innate skill set. And plus, just following anybody in general, you're going to be slower. Because I already kind of know what I'm going to be doing here before I do it. And you're having to kind of wait for me to do it and then follow, So it's always going to be a little bit slower, delayed, just because of that reaction time to watch and listen and then follow up, with your own whatever. So anyhow, I just thought that might encourage some of you who may be frustrated or feeling like, maybe, you're doing something wrong, or, art's not your thing, obviously, because I can't get it done in, the same amount of time as these other artists. And well, we can't really compare ourselves to other people anyways. That's kind of a big creativity killer anyways, but, just knowing that not to give up before your painting is complete. Keep working on it until you're happy with it. It may take you 3-4 times longer than me or whoever else you're following, or longer than you think it should, but art's not, there's a lot of paintings that I think going into it, Mark can tell you, be like, I think this should take me about an hour and a half, and then it's like 3 hours later, so it's just not, even after painting for so many years, it's still, I have a hard time, knowing sometimes how long something's going to take me. So you can see how we're kind of coming closer to some semblance of realism here.
It's similar when I sit down and play video games. I don't sit down and put a time limit on myself.
True.
It could take me an hour. It could take me 12 or 14. I just, whatever it takes.
To get through
right.
the challenge that you're...
I don't compare myself to the professionals. I just, go at it. So It's kind of relatable story, I think.
Uh-huh. Very. Thanks, honey. That was deep.
I know. That's how I am.
Okay, going in here and just adding bits of highlight there. I'm still kind of working my way around to these last few flowers. This one is kind of a jumbled mess. We're not seeing much of the center of it because it's kind of facing this way, away from us. Get some of the
Spencer sent me a picture of the receipt. I don't know why.
The what? Sent you a picture of the receipt?
Yeah.
Probably because I made him use his own money because I put money into his account that he didn't earn.
The poor kid. The struggle's real.
I know. Get a job. Oh, we got a 17-year-old, so sorry. This is
He's 37.
This is, yeah, exactly. How old were we when we had him? That would have been, I don't know about that.
And he was our third.
Oh, gosh. Scary. Okay, yeah, I'm not really loving the purple tone in these, so I think I'm going to work on bringing out more of a... I don't use black all that often with roses if I can help, you know, with flowers in general, if I can help it, but in this case, black is probably closer to what we want to use for our, or at least using a little bit of brown in there to tone it down so it's not so purple. What are you laughing at?
I'm not.
No, I thought you were making noises.
I'm rubbing my beard. Maybe that's what's making the noises.
I don't know.
They would like to know, would a red violet work for the dark color?
I think so. It's just however much purple, you know, tone you want in it. That's the main thing. But you can add a little bit of, you know, of the cadmium red or something like that. Probably not the cadmium red light because it's got too much orange, but if, you know, like maybe a cadmium red medium, something like that to it to make it a little bit closer to what you want.
Oh, okay. Now I see why he sent me the receipt. I don't know if it was correct.
Oh.
What size did you get?
I got the family size. It had 12 pieces or something.
Did you get two sides with it?
Mm-hmm.
Apples?
Yep.
Excellent. You got the right stuff.
Okay.
Sorry, we'll edit that out later.
Alrighty. So I've got it filled in now. So I'm gonna kind of go back in here and start adding little highlight areas. And I'm looking at the outer tips of the petals now. Just gonna see where the light's hitting them. Press that flat. This one's a big old mess, isn't it? Okay. So it's going to all be kind of about trying to create some depth and pockets of really dark and pockets of really light. These dark values in here are almost black. So if you have your colors too light, like this is still too light right here, I kind of toned it down so it's not looking nearly as dark as some of these areas over here. So we're just gonna have to go in. I'm gonna lighten up there, but leave that little dark pocket. What that does is bring the tip of that petal up towards us and leaves this way down deep there and gives it some depth. And then if I put another petal right on top, it makes it even farther deep. And then just continue that in towards the center and bring some of these around, and we can get a whole series of petals that are coming out towards us, popping off the canvas there. And then this center area is fairly dark, so I'm not going to add a whole lot to it. I'm going to get my smaller brush now, and I'm going to actually, before I go too much farther, I'm going to go and let that dry a little bit and try to clean that out as much as I can. I'm going to get my chisel blender and get some of that zinc white. I'm going to go ahead and grab the titanium white too, but zinc white will make it more transparent. And I'm going to add my highlight. It's actually kind of a square. That's why I'm using this brush. I don't know why I did that. There and there. And then I can kind of get a little bit more of the zinc white. Add it along the side there, and maybe a little bit right in there. Alright, let's add some green too. I don't have any green in here. So I'm going to use a little bit of the teal, a little bit of the yellow, green, maybe a little bit of brown. And just kind of twisting my brush here to make these little leaves. I want a darker area, I can add a little bit more brown to my green here. Some of these up in here are pretty dark. Let's add some up in here between the flowers. There's just some little bits of green showing. if I set my square brush down and just kind of drag the tip, it'll kind of create these leaf shapes here for me. I'm gonna call that good. I may put one right in here. Let's use that dark. Put some brown. Make some turquoise here for under our vase. Just gonna use my finger to kind of push that around. And use a wet rag and just kind of smush it. There we go. Okay, so now let's use our little brush here. I'm gonna define the bottom of that a little bit harder. I don't mind the centers of the flowers quite so much now, but I am going to darken them up again. So I'm going to grab some brown, some of that magenta, and the magenta on its own is pretty darn dark. So, but not quite dark enough for us. So let's try adding a little bit of green this time. Wow, look what that does. It creates a really vibrant dark purple. It's similar to the purple that we used, but I think it's got a little bit more reddish tones in it. And if I used black, it would also create a really nice dark red for me. Yeah, that's much better. Just got a little tone of brown in there, just kind of toning down that purple bits. I'm going to go in here and really darken up just a few little areas. I don't have to do it everywhere, but just kind of where I'm seeing some really dark little bits. And I can do it between my flowers too if I need to. You know, if you need some darkness. There is some pockets of really dark if you look at your picture there that are kind of in between our flowers here, so we can kind of put some of those in if we need to, like at the base of some of our flowers. But okay, so here we go. Just drawing in some of our dark areas, and we're going to go back in and do our light areas again too. So then we'll end up with nice dark depth for our flowers. And I'm kind of just doing these little short brush strokes in the like that overlapping, stacked. This one especially. Okay, so this is where I'm going to do a little dot and then a little boom, boom, and just start kind of going around to create these little spiral. And this one doesn't have quite as much. Right at 1 hour. Good timing. Want to go get your dinner while it's still warm?
No, I don't want to drive you crazy with the smell.
Okay. Alright, so now I've got this lighter pink here. And I'm just going to kind of do around, just kind of where I've already just been. Some of them are going to be kind of medium value. Then I'll use this really bright color on some of the outer edges. Just trying to shape these out a little bit.
You should see what people are saying about these roses.
What are they saying?
Oh, things like, OMG, these roses are looking so good. Heart, 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 heart.
I think I need to move this up. This center is a little too low.
That is so pretty.
Oh.
Only 3 hearts on that one. Beautiful, Angela, but even loose, you make it look more realistic than most artists.
Oh.
3 hearts. I don't know how many hearts it is out of how many. What's the maximum hearts you can get? One person has 5. One person has heart raised to the power of heart. So
that's awesome.
I don't know if that beats 5 hearts or not.
In the heart emoji game.
Exactly.
Go big or go home. Right. Bring it. Better bring your A game. Something about this one I'm not really 100% liking yet. I think I had to move that one up. That actually looks like a heart right there, the way it's shaping out. It's not supposed to. I don't think. I don't know. It got really big on this side. I think that's what happened. And so I'm gonna straighten it out. I'm just gonna make it look a little bit more like open to us, because it didn't turn out to look like a bud, so we'll just open it out a little bit.
I mean, there's still some room on that canvas. Get out that stippler.
Yeah, we are gonna splatter. Somebody was really mad about the splatters last time. They were like, I liked it until you splattered it and then you ruined it. So some people are not feeling the splatters on these, which is fine. Don't
splatter.
Don't splatter if you don't want to.
Can stop.
But don't be hating on my splatters.
That's right.
It's my splatters. I like them.
That's why they make almond joys and mounds.
That's right. Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't want to be part of the
hashtag splatter movement.
Splatter movement, that's okay. They can be left behind. That's all right. That's their decision. But this train ain't stopping.
Okay, so getting there. I'm still, it's harder for me to do this style, honestly, because I want to keep putting details in, you know. So that's just kind of my natural go-to, is just to kind of keep working the details. But with this, I kind of have to just sort of squint and go, okay, where are the major value changes happening? Focus on those and let some of the other go. So it's got a really bright one here. There's some bright there. There's some bright right there. And these do dry darker than what they're going on right now. So you kind of have to know that going into that they're going to dry a little bit darker. So just give them a little time to dry before you go in with too many upper layers. Okay, I think we're getting close here. We start to whisper. We sneak up on it.
I like to whisper too.
Okay. They all kind of ended up being full on roses. It's all right. I didn't really keep them much small.
Somebody said that the splattering is the only thing they can do, so please don't take it away.
That's good. It's the only part they feel confident about. Like, I got this. I got this part. That's great. I feel you. All right, I think I'm going to call that good. I'm going to zoom out here and let's see them together. I want to do one like check just to make sure that the style works, you know, with the rest of them. So I think it's going to work, because I think these ones were kind of in a similar looseness. The shape I'm not 100% happy with. Like, this one ended up being way big over here, so I feel like I want to do something down here, but I don't know what. But I guess it's okay. You know, they'll all kind of have their own. This one's kind of coming off this way, and these ones are coming out this way. So this one's kind of got a different shape. So I think when you put them all together, it's gonna work. So I do feel like I kind of homogenized this background. It's actually pretty close to this first one that we did. I'm not seeing a whole lot of like movement in it, but hopefully when we splatter it, it'll help. But I may just go in here before we splatter and just add a little bit of... Does anybody even remember what color this was?
She may, as she's reaching in to do it.
I think it's...
There's no doubt.
I'm going to use a little bit of yellow and a little bit of pink. I know it was kind of turquoisey, so I'm going to use some of the green. So I'm just going to use all the colors that I had in there, and then add a bunch of the lighter color to it. So I want it some bits that are lighter. There we go. toning that down too down there. Okay, that's better. It's got a little more sparkle, maybe. Oh yeah, I was going to show our Teespring thing. Don't let me forget. I do. So, okay. So, first one is white. I'm just going to go ahead and use Zinc White because I don't have my other white. Oh, it should work fine. Probably going to get this on my camera again. It's everywhere. And then burnt umber. And the key to doing splatters is adding lots of water. And if you're worried about it not binding to your canvas, you can add some glazing liquid or something else some sort of medium that'll bind it better to your canvas. But this is our finished coat, so I don't really worry about underbinding too much unless I'm going to be adding top layers on top of it, so like glazing is when underbinding is just when you add so much water that your acrylics don't bind well to your canvas, so they're easily wiped off. But we're going to glaze, we're going to probably varnish this afterwards, so the varnish will seal everything in and hold it tight. And I'm going to blot just once that's on there. I'm just going to kind of set it, don't move it, just going to set it on there and blot. It will kind of remove some of the... Alright, I mean, I can see why they, it definitely does alter the look of it. So it's a little bit, more messy. So if you don't like that style, I totally get it. I'm going to sign it. And usually I will come up a little bit, but these are not going to be framed, so I'm not worried about my signature getting cut off or anything like that. But yeah, those are kind of fun. I think hopefully you liked it. And if you paint it, you can share it with me on my social media. I've got all the links down in the description. And we've got the materials list for Amazon and the brush guys for all the stuff that we were using tonight to paint this. And is that it? Oh yeah, I was going to show and the traceable will be available on Patreon. So I'll have that available probably tomorrow. It usually takes me about a day to get the traceable made and up on my social media. And we've also got our videos scheduled all the way through the end of the summer. So we are not going to be back on Tuesday nights. I'm sorry, but we're taking the summer off.
Yeah, only one video a week. Well, no, you do two.
I'll be doing the Thursday ones with the Princeton brushes for the Patreon $10 group, and then, yeah. And
so
then
you're only
Saturday.
working 67% of the time, so you're taking the summer off?
Exactly. I'm taking one day a week off in the summer. So that's my summer break, quote unquote. And we're taking off the odd day here and there. So yeah, we'll have there's a couple weekends, I think. I don't think in July, but in August, I know we're going away to see Jim Gaffigan. So, but that schedule should be coming out this week. So be looking for that. And I was just trying to make sure my hands were clean. Okay, so I just got my stuff from Teespring today. I was really excited. I ordered some stuff for myself just to see how it looked, since we're selling these on our, you're going to have to zoom out there. So that's a t-shirt. It's big. I'm not going to try to open it because I'm going to get paint on it. But it says "Stop in to paint the flowers." I got mine on navy, and it's a long sleeve, so that'll be that one. I'm really excited about that. So I'll probably wear that in one of my art chats. And then this is the pouch. So, and there's several of these that have sold already. And it's actually big enough for my tablet. So that's why I got it, because I was hoping that this is the large size one. And then they have a smaller size one. So But yeah, because I've got this pen on here, and so when I put it in my purse, it gets caught on stuff. So I'm hoping that I can just drop it in this thing, although I have to set it down just right because it doesn't want to come out sideways. But anyhow, yeah, it printed up really nicely. There's a small size this is the large size. Like I said, the smaller size I think is kind of probably closer to my tablet size.
So share with your significant other for birthday gift ideas.
Well, yeah, and we're going to be adding more Teespring stuff. I've got my social media guy that I just hired, Brennan, and Ben. Got a couple of my son's friends, and working for me now on social media stuff, and they're going to be adding more Teespring stuff to our store and kind of doing some designs and things. So be watching for that. But yeah, this is our first one. I really, really like how the flower brushes turned out on the little pouches. So if you want to check those out, those are at my Teespring store, and that is, I'm not sure.
There is a link down below.
Is there? Is it in the description? I'm not sure if it's in the description. But it is down below the video. YouTube usually has like a little thing down below that shows the different
it's a
Teespring stuff.
Yeah, Teespring store.
Good.
Yeah, your link's down there.
Awesome. All right, guys. So thanks for watching today and checking out our flower of the month of June. I'm going to put them all out here again. I think they went like this.
And then Saturday.
Is it like that? I think that's how it went. Or maybe this. I can't remember. Yeah, I think that's how it went. Maybe. I can't. This is sad that I don't remember what month I painted which one. These two may be switched out. I'm not sure. I think it is switched out. Yeah, I think it's that. Maybe.
With the sun accent on it.
I know. Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah. All right, guys.
And Saturday's painting is?
Saturday's painting, we're painting a desert canyon.
Oh, nice.
It's going to be really pretty. Very sunsetty colors. Very, like, neutral. Pretty yellows and pinks and purples. So, it'll be really nice. Yeah, I think so. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.